Put it out there. Maintain my road. That's what the app is called. It's on Google Play Store, Apple iOS Store. Join us in improving Ghana's road network. Report potholes, report accidents, report best pipes, report for
the economy.
Traffic signal. We have a whole app designed, launched, funded by the state to fix potholes.
And this morning,
ask me how many potholes have been fixed because of this app. No. Tell me how many potholes have been fixed because
I beg you.
of this particular app.
You have
Tell
shown
me.
his video, and the more I watch it, I became heartbroken.
And every day, and, you know, I was telling somebody the other time that Dr. Baumias claimed to be Dr. Digital or Mr. Digital. It's because he's been launching apps. Now, let's come and pay attention to the apps that have been launched. And then let's ask ourselves how those apps, with all the monies that we invested into them, are helping our cause.
74 years. The man says
that's the only way we can do an assessment. And don't you do any proper monitoring and evaluation before you bring another app. We have an app for potholes in this country. Did you know? You didn't know. I'm telling you. Come to me. We have an app for fixing potholes in this country. Potholes. And then you drive through town and you ask yourself, are people able to use this app to report the potholes? And if they report the potholes, how soon is it fixed? We have an app for potholes. And you can go back to many of the apps that have been. Dr. Bawumia told us that he was launching an app
told us that there shall be no haircuts
for school feeding, so that when they feed your child rice and beans, then it will register on the app. Have you seen the rubbish that our children are being fed with in school? Ask yourself how that app has fixed that problem. So we are always interested in fixing the remedial issues
like a military regime. For the first time,
than the root cause.
A retired Chief Justice go on demonstration. You come and sit here and gaslight people. You come and sit here and make it look like you have done.
If you finish this app and you give it out there, what will the local assemblies, the MCs and the DCs and the work?
Are you serious? When COVID struck, when COVID came to this country, where were they keeping the people? Were they keeping them in Akufo-Addo's cathedral? When COVID came, and that if you want to assess the vision, please, if you want to assess the vision of a leader, you will see what he does in good time. 4 years, what were you doing? You were putting $58 million into a bottomless hole for 4 years. Today, that hole is the most useless thing ever done. Instead of apologizing to Ghanaians, you are sitting here saying you have done what better. Yesterday, did Bawumia tell Ghanaians why he and Akufo-Addo decided to put $58 million, not cedis, into a hole? Did he tell them that $58 million dollars? Do you know the number of jobs it can create to young people of this country? You use $58 million in digging a hole. Are you mad? Are you crazy? And Ghanaians are going through this pain for 8 years.
Be careful with your
No. You see, no. Listen, hold on.
Now and be raving
No.
Like
you see, I am in pain this morning.
But the fact that you're in pain, that
I watch. No, please. Please.
No, Kofi.
No, but you see,
please don't be saying crazy and mad.
It's either your flag bearer or it's you. Come on, don't do that.
It is the height of madness to use $58 million to dig a hole.
Your words.
No, is it not madness? 58 million. Roland, if $58 million is Akufo-Addo's hard-earned money, would he use it to dig a hole? Would he do that? Look, the pain in the hearts of Ghanaians does not require us to romanticize issues. I will not do it.
I was only saying speak with Deco.
People, if you dig a hole with $58 million, would your sanity not be questioned? A hole. And Roland, I beg your pardon. Listen, you have a situation where this government decided that they were going to use $2 million on a Sky Train. That money is locked up with the company, no Sky Train. $2 million. Can Bawumia tell Ghanaians how many jobs?
Well, we thought it was for feasibility, but that's it.
Feasibility.
Yes,
and where's the money? Where's the Sky Train? It's gone under the drain. We are told that this government spent another $2 million, Motor Angel, for the motorway job. It never happened. Do you know how many jobs that $2 million can create? One, $40 million on a so-called Ejapa royalty deal. No deal, our money is gone. Do you know the amount of jobs that this can create? You wake up one morning, Roland, to find out that the Minister of State had kept over $1 million under her bed. You see how smart the Akufo-Addo ministers were? At the time they were taking people's savings through DDEP, they were keeping their monies under their bed. You see what they were doing? You have saved your money with banks. You decided to use your money to buy Akufo-Addo bonds. When the time came, pay us back. He never. But he was keeping his money under his bed. So it is safe. You see how dubious these people have been with the governance of this country. Now, on this platform, he said, John Mahama said, he's not a magician to create jobs. You see, sometimes if you come on shows and you are not careful, you say what you are not supposed to say. You sit on this platform and peddle bare-faced lies. John Mahama never said anywhere that he's not a magician to create jobs.
So
I dare you. I dare you.
During the IEA debate, one-on-one.
No,
Respect yourself.
You asked me a question.
No, no,
Demonstrate humility and withdraw that statement.
no,
because, hold on.
Kofi Ameyao, please.
I'll give
Please.
you the platform.
Kofi Ameyao. I remember vividly when you were speaking, I never interjected you. And let me be clear and categorical. That John Dramani Mahama was interviewed or had an interaction with a small audience in the studios of GTV. And that was when he made a statement that it was a response to a question about people saying there were not enough jobs. And he said incubators, etc., had been created with various state agencies. And that if people don't go, or young people don't go there and access them and work, then
the
they wouldn't get and then he also said that it was not by means of being posing as a magician, or it's not by magic that you tend to get money into your pocket. That it is only by ways and means if you go and access and work. And it was reported in the media that way. But that was not exactly what he said. We have to be categorical. But I allowed you to go with it because I thought maybe Edwin will respond to it. No, it's okay. No, I just wanted to put that into perspective. And let me be categorical. When you were talking, I never interjected. You said so many things, and I think respectfully, it's a bit out of character for you to be doing that.
But it's also unfortunate.
So please continue.
You sit,
because when he used words like mad and all that, I told him that it was ungentlemanly. Please continue.
You see, let me say this, and I'll repeat. I will be considered a mad person if I dig a hole with $58 million. My family will disown me. They will say, no, Tagbomel Asiu in Ewe. Because for me to go and dig a hole with $58 million, my people will not be proud of me. But you see, that's even aside. This morning, we are being told that Akufo-Addo Bawumia have created more hospitals. When you came to power, the NDC had gone to Parliament and signed 8 hospital projects with VAMED. Parliament approved the loan and everything. You came and delayed the project. Now you call it your project. Do you know the genesis?
The Eurojet project.
When did you go to Parliament? Look, Eurojet. As for Eurojet, you don't even know about Eurojet.
Kofi Ameyao, please, if you have points, please write that. No, please, Kofi, you are being rude.
I'm focused.
No, you are being rude.
You have no idea.
And then you are interjecting. Please allow your co-panelists to flow. I think that it helps us have a very decorous conversation.
Roland,
please.
Roland, John Mahama went to Barclays. Barclays gave us $300 million promissory notes. We gave it to Eurojet. And that is what they use for those projects. If you don't know, I'm telling you. 2, When John Mahama decided to invest in Ghana East, Rich Hospital, and others, what was Akufo-Addo doing? When COVID came to this republic, it was these hospital projects that became lifesavers. Nobody went into the cathedral when COVID came. That's how you assess the vision of a leader. For 8 years, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and Akufo-Addo have to together destroy the international reputation of this country.
And how did they do that? You can't make those conclusions.
There's a young man called Michael Blackson.
Okay.
He's a comedian. Go right now on Facebook or his Twitter page. He said, Ghana stole my money through DDEP. It's there, City FM Online. That is how you have destroyed the image of this country. Now he says, John Mahama says, you create job through 24-hour economy. Unexplained. Dr. Bawumia's own life story tells you how 24-hour economy works. He said when he was in London, he does taxi driving 8 hours. You move and go and do another cleaning job for 8 hours and what have you. So he himself, his life, shows how you do a 3 shift in a day. How is this difficult for anybody to know? But I understand. Because the MPP had a consultant who told them that the 24-hour economy policy program is believable and Ghanaians can see the prospect. And so they should do everything to undermine it. And that is why they've been running all kinds of adverts on it. But you see, if you want to assess the vision of a leader, it is what he leaves for the predecessor. Before John Mahama left, he left Akufo-Addo $250 million in the sinking fund, uncontested. Before he left $274 million in the stabilization fund. In fact, that is the amount we used, $200 million when COVID came. That's a leader. He thinks about tomorrow. If you want a trustworthy leader, young people of this country, you will see a president who left you ESLA that had given you in excess of 30 billion Ghana cedis in 8 years, uncontested. If you want to see a leader, a John Mahama, the Heritage Fund, the Ghana Exim Bank, we took it to Parliament and passed the law. That allows you to take a certain percentage on our export duties at the port to create. When NPP came, they gave it to the likes of Wontumi, the original chairman in Ashanti region. We can't access those monies again. So we are looking at a president with vision. Look, many years ago.
So let me go to you. Actually,
30 seconds.
No.
Many years ago, Adenta, Medina, and others were synonymous with no water. It was John Mahama as vice president with Mills as president that expanded water into those catchment areas. Today, people don't complain as it used to be in the past. That is how you assess. Don't come and sit here and let it look like you have created heaven. The same Afrobarometer report says about 82% Ghanaians believe that Ghana is heading to the wrong direction. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Going by this benchmark and your own assessment, do you think that Ghanaians are right in trying to use these benchmarks to choose a leader? And why do you think that we've arrived at this point? 82% saying we're going in the wrong direction. Of course, we know that people in excess of 80% want free SHS to stay, as well as one village, one dam, a number of them as well. But the key indicators of unemployment, the healthcare issues, the health infrastructure, and then the economy. Why should it become a key issue based on your own assessment?
Roland, Ghanaians are right, and these issues have been...
They are right in what sense?
They are right in how, or their daily needs, what they expect from the politician. If you take our voter population, close to 70% falls within the youth bracket.
That's
and
true.
Every youth wants job. That is all to it. Politics is about creating that enabling environment for the youth to have jobs, to have decent living or lives. So if you're unable to provide this, that's a failure. And so I agree with them. You see, the video you played of Dr. Maikado.
I was only paying homage to him, a man I knew.
I also want to pay homage because, I mean, during our days at the university, they were the voices that encouraged some of us to be in business. And watching him and hearing what he said, it has really saddened my heart. I heard someone say that, oh, but he's 74 years. But Akufo-Addo is 82 years. He is living. For him to die, for Akufo-Addo to live, is very problematic.
Please, you can't make such statement.
It's a factual statement.
No, please, you can't make the statement.
Look.
Please withdraw the statement.
Which of the?
The statement that for him, what you said.
The statement
if you are telling me that for 74 years, there could be underlying conditions.
There could be. Well, I can take that one out.
To make those comparisons with the president.
No.
Please withdraw it.
Okay, I have withdrawn that. But the point still remains that we voted for people to lead us into prosperity. This is someone who has expended all his energies in building a business. You understand? We put governments there to make sure all the economic indicators are good so that citizens will be happy. Yeah, his words, I don't have my money. He had his own money. Listening to the clarion call of the government to invest, so he decided to invest in government bonds. Now, the money that he willingly loaned to government was taken from him. And so, if today is no more, I would rather prefer to go by his words to advise the younger generations that elections have consequence. And that is why I agree with them that unemployment is a problem. See, we cannot just believe at the point. We cannot just continue to cry that unemployment. What are we doing to go and deal with that issue of unemployment? Fortunately, going into election 2024, all the candidates have submitted their manifestos, their proposals, and what have you. We have fortunately submitted a plan. And that is where...
Well, the Vice President said 2.6 million jobs. I was listening to him yesterday.
The Vice President has said a number of things. It was not the same Vice President that said that when the fundamentals are weak, the economy or the exchange rate will expose you. When he was pushed further, as in government, he said it is warped logic.
What are you implying?
Well, he says something today, tomorrow he changes the position. Meanwhile, the principles are the same. So I don't want the Vice President's position to be my yardstick. Because clearly he has shown that he has no clue in terms of managing the economy of this country. Roland, our problems have been same since day one. And we are here because we have not been able to diversify this economy enough. We keep coming back with the same old rhetorics, and we cannot continue to do the same things over and over again and expect a different results. When this administration took over, our Ghanaian economy had been dependent on cocoa and gold for that long. Are we still not dependent on these two? So we need to shift. If indeed we want to address the concerns of the 41% respondents who believe unemployment is a key issue. And that is why my candidate is saying that we need to introduce new dimensions into our economy. Focusing on pharmaceutical, focusing on petrochemical, focusing on vehicle assembly, focusing on electronic assembly, focusing on salt industry, iron and steel, vegetable oils, and so on and so forth, so that the economy will be broadened for us to receive or mobilize most revenues into the economy.
So are you saying that we have failed?
We have failed woefully, but the position of the government clearly tells you that we have failed.
Which position?
The government is saying that we are in difficult times. We are here because of COVID Ukraine. Look, the same COVID Ukraine, Togo is having a policy rate of 5%. Burkina is having a policy rate of 5%. Ivory Coast is having a policy rate of 5%. Ghana alone is having a policy rate of 27%. Why wouldn't you have that high unemployment? Because underpinning any employment, a good or healthy economy, is your policy rate. How can any business, and that was why Dr. Addo was crying. I mean, if you play the video extensively, you would realize that he was even lamenting about the business, how GRA was harassing him, how electricity bills was killing him. These are the issues that you tackle. And that is why my candidate is saying, under his presidency, we will not be doing any double-digit policy rate in this country. It's killing, it's mind-boggling that no country develops with a double-digit policy. And that is what we have been introduced. And I am very surprised that my brother says Dr. Bawumia has demonstrated, he has a demonstrable record. What record? Look, this is an administration.
You didn't listen to the Youth Connect yesterday.
Oh, as for the Youth Connect, it's one of those things. But I am just taking on his word. Demonstrable record. We are talking about an economy that the inflation rate is 21.5%. Is that a demonstrable record? Look, only last week, a mother had to go and sell a newly born baby for 300 cedis. Roland, this is where we are as a country. That mothers give birth to takaba, you know takaba, newly born baby, and sell the baby for 300 cedis for survivor. And that is demonstrable record. In any case, we have been told by this same vice president, he is just a mere mate. That he does not take decisions. In one breath, he's not part of decision making. In another breath, he has spearheaded a lot of developmental projects. That cannot be. And that is why, Roland, going to vote, we must let voters understand that whatever they intend to do on December 7th has a ramification on how well they do in this country. Which of the policies or plans is going to give you that low interest rate? Which of the policies or plans is going to give you that low inflation? Which of the policies or plans is going to create that enabling environment for the private sector to thrive? We are talking about infrastructure and roads. Carefully crafted and captured in our plan. That the sort of investment mix we are using to tackle our infrastructure position is not right. You cannot collect or mobilize all the tax revenues before you engage on massive road infrastructure. So bring in the private sector to come and help you to develop the infrastructure very fast. This is lacking with this administration. And I'm wondering how anybody can tell us that road construction to the tune of 12,000 kilometers. You know 12,000 kilometers, that is from Accra to Nebraska. And you believe in that?
I don't understand.
The distance between Accra to Nebraska in the United States of America is 10,084 kilometers.
Accra to Nebraska.
That is it.
United States
of America, by road. And they are telling us that they have constructed that, it's even more than that, because they are telling us 12,800 kilometers. If indeed that had taken place, the whole of this country must be asphalted. No, the busiest road in Ghana is Accra to Kumasi. I only came back from Kumasi yesterday. Go and see the deplorable nature of that road. From Apeja down to Kumasi is an eyesore. And yet we keep telling us, no, we have to take the people of this country very serious. We are no more interested in figures that do not add up. And the Ghanaian wants to see reality.
So I did a Google. The distance between Ghana and USA by road.
By road.
11,319 points. Is that what you attribute?
That is what I attribute.
You Googled before you came.
No, but it's all over. Well, even from here to Shanghai, it's not even up to 12,000 kilometers. When they are giving you figures, they don't even think about the implication of it. They just put it out there and run with it, and everyone goes with it. It cannot be.
So look, before I come to Kofi, why do you think all the complaints you're making about the failure of the key sectors of the economy have come about? Why do you think we've failed in those areas, if that is your claim?
No, because honestly, there are a lot of people in positions that should not be there. I mean, one of the marks.
I don't understand. You mean we have square pegs in
square pegs in round holes?
You didn't get Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia with the strong economic
But the candidate then told you that he didn't have a lot of knowledge about economics. And it was the reason he was bringing the vice president to stabilize our inflation, our exchange rate, our policy rate, and so on and so forth. All the indicators that he came to meet has been worsened. Look, in 2016, I was one of those that shouted that the inflation rate of 15% was unthinkable. Today we are doing 21.5%. How can I come and then defend these actions of a vice president who was supposed to reduce it? Cedi to the dollar was 1:4.2. Today it's 1:17. How can you defend this action? You get my point. Unemployment was 8%, now it's 14%. So everything that this administration spoke of in opposition has been worsened. And yet we are being told that it is the best situation. No, we got to lift up the bar and begin to speak reality. And that is why I'm treating the youth of this country not to make the mistake of yesterday by voting for Alan Kyerematen, because the plan is so clear. Straight to the point. It is this that will take you
the
out
GTP?
of... The GTP is so clear.
It's a Bible?
It's a Bible.
For developing the next 4 years?
Absolutely.
Kofi, looking at this, what then is the plan to make sure that we improve on the economy, health, healthcare infrastructure, unemployment, etc.?
Before I address that particular question, it's important to put this on record. I mean, I've watched these shows from afar. and I've seen banter between two communicators or representatives of the political parties, when especially the NDC, engage in some raving and ranting. I'm not that. I won't do that. I won't engage in that.
Please let temper speak.
No. My temper is, I'm calm. But what is unconscionable is the fact that Ghana, we spent $16 billion on excess capacity charges. Okay? What that means is that we have the machines there, we are not using it, and yet we are supposed to be paying. Almost every year, we've been paying $1 billion since 2017.
I don't understand you. Are you saying that us having IPPs producing power or engaging IPPs to produce power is wrong?
We are talking about excess capacity charges.
Actually,
wait, no. I'm making my point. I'm entitled to make my point, don't I? And I'm saying that capacity that are not in use, we are not using it, but yet we are supposed to pay as a result of the power purchasing agreement that we went into under John Dramani Mahama. And Ghana is paying almost $1 billion every single year. Is that not unconscionable? And you won't rave and rant about that? Okay? You see, my brother Solo, I showed you an article. And I was hoping that...
So I asked you a question. Are you saying having more power generation capacity is wrong?
I'm talking about excess capacity. I'm not talking about that. Okay, Ghana Energy Commission's report give room for about 13% of. But we went into 32 purchasing power agreements. A lot of them excess capacity charges. And Ghanaians are paying for it even though we are not using it. That one there, then we like I said, I showed you an article and I was hoping you go along that tangent.
You mean
that
the banking sector?
What happened to...
He gave you an article?
Yes, he showed me an article.
To be fair, I don't know much about the honorable man who had just died, the businessman. I don't know much about him. But listening to his story is a very sad one. It's unfortunate if it happens to any other Ghanaian for that matter. But we shouldn't sit here and be lying about it. He never mentioned DDEP. He said the financial sector cleanup affected the savings. That's what he said. I have the article here.
Yeah, he said financial sector. He said the banking sector.
But Edu just sat here and talked about the DDEP. It has nothing to do with...
Is it your assumption that he never invested in government instruments?
I'm talking about what he has said and what Eduji has sat here to say. And they are not the same. And he also repeated same. That's not the case.
No, I never attacked on it.
Okay? So for me, these things, we need to stop. Okay? The Ghanaian people will vote for any political party, not based on sensationalization and sentiment and emotions and ranting and raving. The real issues are there. There has been a survey. Address those concerns. Okay? You talk about money that has been spent. We spent 9 billion Ghana cedis. Okay? We gave it to banking institutions, and some of them use that money for galamsey, bought personal cars for themselves. Now we have an individual who has been in prison as a result of misusing that 9 billion that was given to.
I don't understand. You mean that the Bank of Ghana...
Let me make it clear.
I don't understand. So my rebuttal question is, are you saying that the Bank of Ghana's own policy of giving help, financial help, to banks that are distressed is equated to the 25 billion that has been spent on the banking sector?
I'm making the point in reference or in rebuttal to what Eduji was raving and ranting about, that the government has sunk in 50 million into
$58 million.
And then he used certain words, which I can't do that here. Because of the respect I have for himself, his political party, and his candidate. I won't denigrate him for no other reason, because if he's my father or uncle, I'll be so proud of him, in spite of the fact that I disagree with his policies. But I'm also saying that 9 billion of our money were sunk into areas that we did not recoup. So if you are raving and ranting...
9 billion was sunk where? Please be specific.
Into our banking sector.
You mean the financial support that
exactly,
John the Bank of Ghana
What happened to it?
No, you mean the financial support that the Bank of Ghana, by way of policy,
under John Dramani Mahama.
If you take a look at the act that also establishes it,
and what happened to it?
No, are you saying, are you equating that to the monies or the efforts to make sure that we do the banking sector cleanup? And then how much has been spent? In excess of over 20 billion. Is that what you're saying? I
am asking you that the amount of money, not just you
tell me.
I'm making a point that the 9 billion that was used to salvage these banks, was it done properly?
Who used 9 billion?
The government of John Dramani Mahama.
Where are you getting the source from? I don't have it, that's fine.
He even said it.
I know that banks were giving support. UT was giving support, and a number of them also were giving. But liquidity support is something that the Bank of Ghana does. Okay. Indeed, if you look at the Basel Protocols and the Basel Accords.
So why didn't you remind
Please listen to me. Please listen to me. So the Basel Accords are in one. No, I'm also trying to make a premise and then I'll ask a question. So the Basel Accords are in 3. We have 1, 2, and 3. And if you take a particular look at the Basel Protocols, it enjoins central banks across the world, just like the Bank of Ghana is doing, to give liquidity support to banks. Are you saying that the Bank of Ghana, in its own right and assessment, giving liquidity support to banks is wrong?
Every money spent by any government is legitimate. Okay?
The Bank of Ghana.
Approved by Parliament, approved by any institution, approved by any act or law is legitimate. But sometimes we do not realize the intended goal for which they are being used for. And that is the reason why today Ghanaians are asking what we have done with the $58 million as far as the cathedral construction is concerned. I'm also asking a relevant question, that when legitimately we gave money to the banking institutions in an attempt to salvage them, what happened to it? And when that went into waste, why is he not raving and ranting about it? But that's not the point. You see, again, my point is that we need a leader who will be able to really and truly bring us back to where we used to be, but for what happened to the globe, the world. I'm talking about a global pandemic, COVID-19. My friend here Solo talked about the fact that we are making excuses as far as the ramifications and the effects of COVID is concerned. That why is Togo doing this and why is Togo doing that? You refuse to pay attention to the fact that their economy is anchored on euro. Their central bank is in France. They have a common currency. So our economy cannot be the same as their economy. The economy...
I don't understand. I don't understand.
What did I say before?
Please, during the 2014 lectures that were convened by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, if I remember vividly, on the campus of the Central University, he categorically compared our economy and even referred to Cote d'Ivoire and the rest as our neighbors, that they were even doing better than us. That's what he said. But are you saying that those comparisons
I'm confused why you brought that, because the point I'm making, you haven't contested that. Is it true that the economies of these countries that he mentioned are anchored in the Central Bank of France? Is it not true? And that they have a common currency and that their economy cannot be the same as our economy? Is it not true? That's a fact. Okay, so for me as a young person, I am looking into a leader that will give us solutions. And I am convinced in my bones, looking at the track record of John Dramani Mahama, for me as youth of this country, President Mahama is a clear and present danger to our future. Because his policies are not in sync with what we want. His policies do not align with our aspirations. Because whilst we are entering into the fourth industrial revolution, he's talking about Nkukobo Nketenkete to the extent that he doesn't even understand digitalization and will go out there and insult the Ghana people that they need kinky and fish and not digitalization.
Who doesn't understand digitalization?
The former president.
Are you saying
how do you tell me?
Who brought digitalization to Ghana?
I've never sat anywhere to say that. Dr. Bawumia has never also said that. But we also have the same the former president telling us that, okay, why have you abandoned the economy and now you are championing digitalization? When he doesn't know there's a nexus between digitalization and economy. So for me, clearly, the leader who has demonstrated that indeed he can be able to solve our many challenges is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia with his policies, having listened to him and that of the former president, John Dramani Mahama.
You see, today...
You say you have no case.
today, Dr. Bawumia's record, his scorecard, is inflation 21%. It rose to 54. It had never happened since 1992. That is your record. Unemployment of 14%. Under John Mahama, it was 8%. It has never happened. Public debt from 120 billion to 765 billion. It had never happened. Do you know that by 2016, if you were a Ghanaian, your share of our public debt was 3,700. Today, your share of our public debt is 25,000. It has never happened. The exchange rate, you recall, Bawumia, when in doubt, observe the exchange rate. And that when the fundamentals, if you are a Boso Kind spare parts dealer, in 2016, if you had 1 million Ghana cedis, it gave you $250,000. So when you go, you can bring so many containers. Today, the same 1 million Ghana cedi gives you only $70,000. Shameful. That is your dubious record. Now you talk about what? That Bawumia, in one breath, we are told Bawumia is a mate. In another breath, we are told that he's the one who has done everything. You see,
well, the position is that he doesn't have direct power.
No, so the man you claim does not have direct power. It means everything has been done by Akufo-Addo in one breath. In another breath, he has championed 33 policies. Now, what is the result, the net result of the 33 policies? Exchange rate of 17 Ghana cedis to $1. That is all the 33 policies put together. The result is what we have today. But you see, we are having to entertain and tolerate this level of incompetence and thievery. Last week, I said on this platform, when you have a government, listen carefully, when you have a government that can spend 500 million Ghana cedis out of gift miss, this is a government that is seeking to hide. But this morning, my brother says that they have spent 25 billion on banking sector cleanup. Another wickedness. And the banking sector cleanup will be investigated. Do you know why? You claim that the banks needed 9 billion Ghana cedis to be on their, feet. Then you ended up, so that was the problem, 9 billion. Now you ended up spending 25 billion to solve a 9 billion problem. You are clueless and wicked. They stole the money. We investigate it.
How do you come by those conclusions?
How do you spend 25 to solve a 9 billion problem? Would you do that? I know you. You are level-headed. Would you do that? A 9 billion problem.
The central bank, that's the point.
No, so that's one. He says, we have been doing 16 billion on excess capacity. Please, when people give you this kind of information, for your own personal credibility, interrogate it. Bawumia went to the Pentecost Convention Center and said, we have spent 17 billion on excess capacity. So we decided to interrogate it. 600 million of that money, listen carefully, $600 million Ghana cedis of that money was given to a company called Stratcom for supplying power to the independent power producers, LCOs, light crude. Now, if you are not generating the power, on what basis did you supply fuel to be paid 600 million? That's one side. Suhuyini asked Mr. Speaker that let Finance Minister come and tell us from 2017 to 2020 how much we have spent on excess capacity. It's not even up to 1 billion in 4 years. Now, when we saw the numbers, we realized that it was actually not excess capacity, but actually power produced and sold because they were paying Ameri. They paid AXA, they paid Car Power, and the ones producing the power then. So that's a barefaced lies. You have never spent that money on excess capacity. Stop lying to yourself. And you see the most dangerous thing that can happen to a man when he believes his own lies.
Meaning what? What do you mean by when you believe it?
You've never spent 16 billion on excess capacity. The money you spent is not even up to $1 billion on excess capacity. In any case, how do you call it excess capacity when the person had produced the power and sold it to you and you have used? Excess capacity simply means that the power plants can work, but for one reason or the other, you are not able to supply the power. But because you have take or pay agreement, you still have to pay. As we speak, Akufo-Addo, when he came, the Tema LNG project, you signed it, and there is a take or pay in it. So please, when they give you this kind of information, now Bawumia says, and I'll conclude on this, yesterday, he told the young people of this country that he has the capacity to protect the public purse. The same lies his boss told us on the 7th of January 2017. Do you know what the record has been? Akufo-Addo today had packaged an ambulance contract, $54 million, to the young man called Solomon Okoro, who has a daughter with a daughter. Is that how he's protected the public purse? Inflated the project. Today, as we speak, Bawumia, who is promising that he will protect the public purse, his brother, who he said one mother, one father with, whose company, Resource Assets Company Limited, has been the beneficiary of over 200 million Ghana cedis of public through sole sourcing. Through sole sourcing. Sole sourcing that Bawumia and Akufo-Addo demonize in opposition. That is their lifestyle. So the young people of this country, and I'll conclude on this, if you believe these scammers, the disruption to the Ghanaian economy in the past 8 years is what they'll visit on you. The NDC, we have said clearly, we have solid project, Women Development Bank, and the women of Ghana are buying it into it. They believe it's doable, it can be done, and we are encouraged. When John Mahama, look, I've been in the coastal community. Yes, I've been in the coastal community. Do you know that at an outboard motor that used to cost 3,700 in 2016, it's now costing 38,000 cedis? You have got this level of distraction. Instead of being humble and apologize, you are here.
In conclusion, first of all, let me...
The benchmarks for voters, say, what should they be looking at?
If you have a problem with using Togo and Ivory Coast, I'd rather extend it to Botswana and Rwanda, that their policy rates are far, far below what we do in Botswana.
But the other countries
is doing 2.5%. Rwanda is doing 7%. They all went through the COVID. That your man that went to Yale and Harvard came and spoke extensively without providing any solution. Roland, my message to the youth of this country: this election is about their future, and for them to have a secure future it means to get a decent employment. You can only create an employment, decent one as such, in this country when you have a government that will focus on the private sector. And the private sector can only thrive when all the indicators are down. Inflation is down, policy rate is down, all the other cost elements that enables business to thrive is down. My candidate, Alan, is promising the lowest tax regime in the ECOWAS sub-region given the opportunity. We intend to abolish the 2% levy, import levy. We intend to abolish the COVID-19. It's not interesting that we no longer have COVID, yet we are paying for COVID. We intend to have a free duty on spare parts within the first 2 years of Alan's administration. And on top of that, businesses must understand that we are bringing the Traders Bank that will offer very low interest rate to businesses so that they can thrive. And also weed out corruption. All these things we are hearing is about corruption. How can you go and sing $58 million and tell me that you did the work of God? God has to punish people for saying that they invested $58 million into a useless project. In all these, it is about the personality involved, the character that is leading. A persona like Alan Kyerematen, who is not corrupt, is the one that can lead you to that destination. A character like Alan Kyerematen, who has brought in the Africa Continental Free Trade, telling you that under his presidency, business will boom, is the one that you must trust. A character like Alan Kyerematen that is promising you that for so long we have not had shipping line in this country. He will bring you shipping line.
You bring the
blaster line. Because you cannot have after operate efficiently when you don't have
maritime transport.
Absolutely, and the same thing with airlines. And these are all very feasible and doable.
GTP.
The GTP is your Bible. Your Bible. You have to go through it. It's a plan. First of all, it's a plan, and there is no doubt that if the youth of this country are looking up to a president who will offer them that job, then there is none than Alan Kyerematen. Let me also thank all those that took part in the walk. You remember this weekend we had a mammoth walk, and it was so beautiful. You want another time?
So thank you very much. I have this one. Let me read a couple of them. Let me give you your.
I disagree with what you said. How can you put them against you? You came and spend your time.
So my Kofi Aflu says, please ask Kofi Amayao to list the the 30 completed Agenda 111 hospitals and where they are currently located. He says he has them there. And then also, I have a couple more. This one is coming from Daniel Vanuoku. Daniel Vanuoku.
10 minutes, worship birthday. 10 minutes on this platform.
I also wanted to raise the issue of road infrastructure, particularly concerning the Wa-Kumasi route. I used to be able to drive from Wa to Kumasi in 5 hours, but last week it took me 9 hours due to the poor nature of the road. Poor. And then landlord Bolga D-Line says, Roland, with the greatest of respect to our president, he has actually defined, okay, an economist now it's the reason bondholders have received the haircut. He cannot say he didn't advise on that as head of the economic management team. Sorry that I'm editing your messages. And then PHK said the contractor at the Kufuor Regional Hospital has Jakpa. You mean he has left because of money? As some of the roads actually are on standstill to be. They've been abandoned.
I'll leave the road.
And then Kofi Kwating Ameni referred me to government paid $937 million to 3 IPPs for 4 years. That's the finance minister's response. Kakri Samoa says, please tell Solomon Owusu to give me his smoke. I love it. And then Umar Farouk says, what track record is Mr. Mayal talking about? The MPP, let me read the last one. The MPP have failed as a leadership. Kwesi Mensah says he knows you in the US, apparently. Did you used to appear somewhere at One Corner, DC? Something was hosted by Sankofa Radio. Is that Sankofa Radio? You used to appear there. And so you have run to Ghana. No, but I think he's doing party work also. So let me just read this one from Zach. People saying, why do I read Zach's comments? Why did Solomon Owusu decide to skip Nigeria's policy rate of 27.25% and resulted to mentioning Francophone countries? And so Solomon Owusu has given. Thank you so much. Kofi Ameyao says we have a Kontumbra, Bogoso, Elubo, Mpoho, Nsawom, Wasadunkwao, Swame, Chedie, is it Chedie, Drobonso. We have Manson Kwanta. We have Meme. I saw Meme last week. Meme. But they have hospital. All right, so Dewa Chop Money is always available for you. Make sure that you use a short code. You get to win 20 times your stake, 40 times your stake, and then 400 times your stake. And then just in case you want to get all the interaction, you can also do online dewa-nla.com, get the latest update, and you get all the draws. It's 10 a.m. this morning. We have 6 p.m. and then 7 a.m. also, 7 p.m. as well.
Where? My understanding is that it's not coming.
The piece.
The 5 kg of rice has moved from 25 cedis to 165. Oh.
Hey! Boss, cement moved from 24 cedis to 105 cedis now. Hey!
The kenke is 5 cedis. The fish, I have 10, 15, and 20 cedis. Which one do you want?
Hey!
Stop the A.
Hey!
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
I'm a Ghanaian, and I love luxury accredited. And I love democracy.
December 7th, Ghana is voting.
Only peace. Peace, I give it to you all.
I love Ghana.
Peaceful election before, during, and after.
One Ghana.
Peace. Peace to everybody.
One Ghana. Ghana.
This message brought to you from the luxury accredited.
Champion.
Santex and Crown Paints. Excellent paint that is resistant to peeling, mold, algae, and fungus. It comes in a wide range of colors with high opacity, high spread rate, and dries fast with no afterpaint stench. Santex and Crown Paints are distributed by Bamson Company Limited. Locate us at Sickens House, Old Fatima Road, South Industrial Area, Accra, or any of our branches in Atabraka, East Legon, Tema, and Adum in Kumasi. Call or WhatsApp us on 0573839640. Santex and Crown